Praise the King! Welcome to the Lisa Sparks Show live. We are going to be going through our timeline update first. Let's get right straight into it. A CIA officer says Obama has lost control of the Middle East. This is from ZeroHedge.com. I think he's right. They have started something over there that has now exploded into something that is beyond their control. And in the area of wars and rumors of wars, you've heard a lot in the past couple of days about Turkey and the attempted coup there. But interestingly enough, everything was locked down. Now, Erdogan is in power still. This coup attempt failed, but it's possible that he devised it himself just to give himself the justification to crack down on opposition forces. They do that. That's called a false flag, where you set up a situation so you can respond to it. A lot of these terrible shootings are also false flags. Yes. What? Am I good to go? Okay. Sorry, Troy was telling me that we had a little bit of audio issue there. Now, it looks like, just to repeat a little bit here, looks like Erdogan is still in power, and it's possible that he devised the plan for this coup himself. As that's how they do these things. They're called false flags, and they create a situation uh, to give themselves justification to respond to the situation. Now, there are reports that Erdogan is behind the coup and planned it out himself, um, just to justify cracking down on the opposition forces. That's how they think. They create a situation so they can respond to it. It is possible. Also, where the New World Order is concerned, merger in the air between NATO and EU. OMG. That would create an EU superstate of 10 kings that are big nations. You know what I mean? Where the USA would be a part of that EU superstate, where you'd have these major players as part of the EU. And that would be really interesting, wouldn't it? We can see how these Western powers align with one another, and their goal is to conquer the Middle East and to possess all of those oil and gas natural resources in the Middle East. We've known that for a long time, haven't we? Let's look at apostate religion real quick. I know, it's crazy. Methodists have elected their first openly gay bishop despite the denomination's ban on same-sex relationships. Now, if that surprises you, it shouldn't surprise you, okay? We're seeing apostate Christianity get worse and worse and worse by the day. As far as the Temple Mount goes, there's some interesting developments there. Jews have been on the Temple Mount. There was a priestly blessing given by the father of a murdered girl who did this priestly blessing on the Temple Mount, right under the Muslims' eyes. And they didn't do anything about it. I guess it's because he was the father of this murdered girl. But it's interesting how the Jews are becoming bolder to where they're going to go onto the Temple Mount and they're going to take their chances, giving their blessings and praying like they're not supposed to. But there they are, okay? As far as pestilence goes, wow. We've got a lot in the news on these things. The Zika threat is serious and getting bigger, according to McClatchy, D.C. Western Hemisphere, Florida, Puerto Rico, Brazil in the crosshairs mostly. So be prepared for Zika to do its worst. In the area of idolatry, An epic statue of Chinese warrior god unveiled in China. This is being reported by Popular Mechanics. This is amazing. It's like 157 feet tall. You can see it from a long distance. It's a warrior with some kind of a spear or some kind of a scepter. Now, where the economy is concerned, the yen is set for its greatest weekly drop since February 1999. We're going to see more and more moves toward economic collapse as we move toward the end of 2016. We're looking for the treaty also. We've got September coming up, which is the end of the Antichrist's first 42 months. And something is going to probably be expected around that time. Perhaps the treaty, perhaps the economic collapse. We'll just have to see. That is the start also of the Antichrist snake in a dress, Pope Francis's Jubilee of Mercy that's supposed to last a year. We'll see how that goes. They will probably rebuild the temple during that time, since it looks like the temple needs to be defiled somewhere around mid-2018. We're going to have to see some progress toward rebuilding the temple by, I'd say, mid-2017. And you'd have to have the treaty prior to that. And the Jews at this time have no incentive to sign a treaty with the Palestinians. I'm outside here in Southern California. It's really nice weather. I'm sorry about the lighting, guys. I know you're having a hard time seeing me, but we'll muddle through. I'm kind of broadcasting here on my iPad, so it makes a big difference when I don't have my studio with me. So I hope you'll bear with us. The information is going to be the same either way. Now, as in interesting developments where the seas are concerned, you have a sea lice infestation at, sorry, bugs are kind of buzzing me. There's a sea lice infestation in Florida beaches. That means you don't want to go. You don't want to go in the water, do you? I don't want to go in the water either. I can totally live without going in the water. As far as natural phenomenon goes, we have in the sun, moon, and stars, we have geomagnetic unrest for the 4th day in a row, solar winds, and an increase in magnitude 6 earthquakes. It doesn't look like we're in the midst of a real bad birth pang right now. We may be kind of between two of them, but we are having some extraordinary activity in the sun, moon, and stars here lately. And those are some of the signs that we're supposed to be watching for, aren't they? As far as Bible evidence goes, we have the University of Pennsylvania Archaeological Expedition, reported by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, JTA. They say that they have evidence now through this expedition to corroborate the biblical tales of David and the Philistines. I love Bible evidence, don't you? Where they dig up all of these things from ancient times that prove that the Bible is true. I love that, don't you? Now, in the area of, these bugs are gonna, what? Come on now, cut me a break. Where's my spray? Okay, I'm gonna spray some stuff here. Maybe you'll quit buzzing me. You're bugging, bugs. Okay. Okay. We've got evidence to corroborate the story of David and the Philistines. Now, Bible evidence. Isn't that cool? How they do, how they come up with all this evidence through these geological expeditions. This one is credited to the University of Pennsylvania. How about it? In the area of corrupt government, and there's so much of that, it's unbelievable. The Obama State Department funded Netanyahu overthrow campaign. Did you know that? For our State Department to interfere in the elections of another country is absolutely criminal, okay? That's just something that you don't do. But they tend to want to keep doing it, don't they? Go figure. Hi, guys. Let me come over and say hi to everybody in the chat room. Everybody doing okay? Hey, I love you guys. Hi, Janine. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Shanna. It's cool to see you, sis. You doing all right? Let me see what's going on in the chat room here. Hi, guys. I'm so glad to see you. Glory to the King. I love you guys. Welcome, welcome. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I don't see anything at the moment. That gives you kind of an update. Let's go ahead and get into our Bible study. Go ahead and turn over to Romans chapter 9. We're going to discuss something real quick about those who are saved and those who are not. Okay? This is something that's really important to learn if you're a believer, because many believe that they have spots and wrinkles and blemishes. Okay? Let me I hope I don't cut you off there while I'm looking for my concordance here. If I do, forgive me, I'll be right back with you. I'm looking here on my Bible concordance. Now, the word is talking about how the spots and blemishes are not in a part of the believers. Okay? The church is without spot or blemish. And we know that it says that, right? So let's find out what are the spots and blemishes. Okay, if you look at 2 Peter 2:13, the word says, "And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime." Let me turn over to 2 Peter 2:13. I may need to go just a little bit prior. 2 Peter 2:13. Okay, now we're going to start here. Let's look at verse 9, okay? The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Let me get over here. Okay. Sorry. You can't see me when I'm looking at my concordance. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, it says, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly, did you get that? The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations. Okay, those are the children of God. And to reserve the unjust, those are the children of the wicked, unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government. Do you despise your government? Well, it's hard not to, isn't it? It's really hard not to. But what we have to understand is that God gave us our government, and it's a good thing. But you have the globalist, wicked mystery of iniquity out there that is, I'm sorry about the noise. Sorry about the noise here. There's the street right there next to us, and so have these motorcycles. Okay, it says they despise government. We are not supposed to despise our government. Okay, it's hard with Obama at the helm not to. Okay, because he's such a dirty politician, and he does things. He's so corrupt and so dirty. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Now we have to respect our government, and we have to obey our laws. We don't have any choice. Okay, God orders us to do that in Romans chapter 13. But we don't want to despise our government. Okay, we need to grieve that our government has been infiltrated as to the point that it has. In verse 11, whereas angels which are greater in power and might bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord, but these as natural brute beasts. They're just programming. They're just animal, basically, walking around in a human body. Animals on the inside, okay? Natural brute beasts made to be taken and destroyed. That they are made to be destroyed, like a paper cup. Okay, are we mean if we create a paper cup and then destroy it when we're done using it? God's not mean either if he creates the wicked for a purpose, to manipulate our paths, to bring challenges into our lives, those kind of things, and then he destroys them. It's no different than a paper cup. But these, as natural brute beasts made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not. They just spout evil because they are evil, but they don't understand anything, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. That's what they're designed to do. And shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Now, are you noticing who these are? These are the wicked. They are vessels that are fitted for destruction. Now, in verse 13, it says, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes. Did you hear that? We know that the Church of Jesus Christ is without spot or blemish. And when we learn that scripture, we start thinking, well, we've got all kinds of spots and blemishes, don't we? Well, no, we don't. We're under the blood. We are without spot or blemishes. Now, this says, these guys here, in verse 13 of 2 Peter 2:13, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness. Unrighteousness is unbelief. As they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. There are some people that just they look for trouble. They seek out trouble. They are trouble. It says, spots they are, and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceiving. See, they're sporting themselves. They think they're all clever and wise. They're going to make money off of unsuspecting believers that are just stupid and naive. They sport themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. Now, this, my commentary is saying that they live luxuriously and they revel in their deceivings. They just pat themselves on the back about how smart they are to be able to take money from believers and cheat people and things like that. Now, notice it says they are the spots and blemishes. We don't have to worry that we as children of God have spots and blemishes. We don't. We are covered in the blood of the Lamb, and there is no spot or blemish in those that are under the blood of the Lamb. These are the spots and blemishes. These are false believers. They are not believers for real. They're fakes. They're infiltrators. And they sport themselves with their own deceivings. They pat themselves on the back that they're so smart and that they get into the church and that they can infiltrate it and that they can make money off of people that are in it. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that go to church just for the business connections. Okay? It's just ridiculous. They have eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls. See, now here's what it is, having eyes full of adultery that cannot cease from sin. They cannot be faithful to their spouse to save their lives. They're philanderers, womanizers, men stealers. They're having eyes full of adultery. They're always looking for their next conquest that they can take home with them and have their one-night stands and all that stuff. They don't cease from sin. There is sin up to their eyeballs, okay? Beguiling unstable souls. They are unstable in all their ways. A heart they have exercised with covetous practices. They are cursed children. These are not the children of God. They're spots and blemishes in the church is what they are. Now, the Lord has said that there will be no spot or blemish in his church. And what this means, what I think this is go over here to Matthew 22. I think what we're going to find is someone with spot and blemish, okay, trying to get into the wedding supper. Now let's look at Matthew 22, and let's start off in verse 10. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. See, you're looking at sheep and goats, not dividing between bad and good. Okay, we're all bad. All of us are bad. Everybody doing okay over here in the chat room? Let me see. I'm watching for you guys. Hi, Cher. You doing all right? So glad to see you. Hi, Janine. You guys are great. Okay, and I'm monitoring the chat room today. I'm able to do that. Now it says they found both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. So see, the children of God are bad and good. Well, we're all bad. Okay, everyone's bad. Only Jesus is good. Okay, everyone's bad. So he's not dividing bad and good. He's dividing species. He's dividing sheep and goats, wheat and tares. Okay. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. This man has no wedding garment on. All of the children of God have a robe that is given to them. Why doesn't he have one? He doesn't belong there. He's a spot. He's a blemish. He has no garment. He doesn't belong there. Okay? And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. The man is clueless. He's like, I don't know. He's speechless, right? But the king addresses him as friend. But what's interesting is the king also addressed Judas as friend when he brought the servants of the high priest to arrest Jesus. Jesus addressed him as friend. So don't get fooled here just because the king says, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? What he's saying is nobody comes in here if you don't have a wedding garment. This guy doesn't have one. And this is a hypothetical parable. Nobody is going to be there that doesn't have a wedding garment. Okay? The wedding garment, the fine linen, is the righteousness of saints. So the righteousness of saints is believing God. Abraham believed God, and it was accounted unto him as righteousness. And then the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. So if you don't believe God, you don't have a wedding garment. If you are one of God's children, you will believe him. And if you believe him, you have a wedding garment. Okay? These wedding garments are given to us there. We don't take them with us, but we construct them in a form while we're here as we believe God and walk through our daily lives and stuff. Let me turn this up a little bit. Okay, now let's see here. And then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot and take him away and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Well, the guy obviously doesn't belong there. He doesn't get to stay. He has no wedding garment, which means he didn't believe God. He didn't believe God because God didn't choose him out and give him the ability to believe him. Okay? And so he is a tare. He's not a child of God. He is one of the spots and blemishes in the church, infiltrators who do wickedness and they never follow the word. We're going to take a real quick break. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.